Hey, what's up? This is Odolena from Odolena Digital. Welcome to my channel. It's Sunday again, and today I'm talking about a topic which I wanted to talk about for a long time. It's the 5G internet connection, which has become super popular recently. There's been a lot of discussions, a lot of arguments and emotions around it, especially with the coronavirus. People get really excited about this subject, and I just wanted to shed some light based on facts and scientific articles which I read on the subject. I work for Google, however, everything that I share on this channel is my own personal opinion. If you're new here, please be sure to subscribe. So first of all, what does 5G stand for? So 5G is fifth generation of internet, meaning that there's been 4 other generations. You all probably have heard of 3G, 4G, these are the latest ones, but there was 1G and 2G. So 1G was in the 1980s, they were the first cell phone. Then we had 2G, which was the first text messages in the 90s, and then the 3G, which allowed the iPhone, the 4G, which accelerated it to the speed that we have today. And now 5G is something which is 10 times faster. So imagine if you download a 2-hour movie on your phone, now it will take you a few hours. With a 5G internet connection, you will be able to do that in 1 second. It's estimated to bring up huge amount of job opportunities, growth in GDP for the countries that adopt it. Therefore, there's been a race between China and the United States on who actually gets 5G first. And also, there's been a lot of concerns, some of them argumented, some of them not well argumented, around the health risks of 5G. And the truth is that there is not much clarity on this subject. So in this video, I'm going to go through all these factors and tell you what I found out as based on really reputable sources and facts. Okay, but what is so big about 5G and why people think that it's so important? Well, yeah, you can download movies faster, what the hell? No, that's so much more than that. You cannot imagine even the things that will become possible, and really it's kind of like the beginning of a science fiction movie for us once we get this kind of high-speed internet and make it possible for more devices to be connected and communicating to each other. That's the key thing. There you have the next generation. It's not only about entertainment and mobile phones and faster downloading your movies and music. Yes, entertainment is going to benefit a lot from 5G, but there is so much more than that. Internet of Things. Internet of Things means connected devices. So imagine your camera communicates to your computer, which communicates to another computer. Imagine homes which have all their gas and electricity regulated by smart sensors, so that you don't waste even a bit of energy on heating or lights. Imagine whole cities being powered this way, whole offices being powered this way. Imagine the huge savings and ecological benefits from this kind of smart buildings. Imagine also traffic. Like, this is one of the biggest problems in urban areas, is the length of traffic and the difficulty of commute. So imagine with smart transportation, where you have driverless buses, driverless tube and driverless cars, which all communicate to each other. Traffic lights, smart traffic lights, traffic regulation, all of it connected to each other, communicates to each other, calculates the most precise route, the most economical route, best time of the day, and it regulates itself by with machine learning, with technology. Healthcare. Healthcare is the other sector which you don't realize what could be possible. Can you imagine a doctor doing an operation being in New York while the patient is in London? This is possible with robots which are commanded with super fast internet connection, which the doctor can actually use the robot and perform the operation from distance. This is not science fiction. I'm not invading this. These are actual things that are already existing. They just need this fast connection. Other things which are a bit more scary, and it's about face recognition, surveillance. So in China, at the moment, there is thousands and thousands of CCTV cameras, which actually recognize faces of people around the city. So even if you don't have your phone with you, they can easily recognize your face. So this, I mean, of course it sounds scary, but think about that. Think about international crime. Think about terrorism. How is this kind of high speed of internet first being achieved? At the moment, how actually we get internet on our mobile devices is through microwaves. Yes, microwaves like the ones in your oven and the ones that carry your radio and television. The reality is that these microwaves have a very low frequency, so they have frequency up to 2.4 gigahertz, maximum 6 gigahertz for the 4G internet. Which means that they are relatively safe. Of course, the World Health Association says that all microwaves have some sort of radiation, but so does sunlight. So just to compare, sunlight has much higher frequency than any of what 5G was going to get to. And after sunlight, you have gamma waves, you have X-rays. These are very ultraviolet rays. These are very dangerous for the human body if exposed. What we talk about here, 4G and 5G, as well as radio and television, microwave ovens, these are low frequency. But the main argument is, up to now, we have exhausted the low frequencies. So up to 6 gigahertz, which is the 4G, we have pretty much exhausted the spectrum there, and there's so many connected devices now. So what happens is, if we start connecting more and more devices, as more smart technology is emerging, like wearables, smart medical devices, like smart cars, autonomous driving, smart cities, Internet of Things, and home internet, smart homes. These all use the internet. So if all these devices are using the same waves, then the internet connection is going to slow down. So for us to expand to the next generation of devices and to have more connected devices, we have to extend the spectrum of these waves. So we have to go to a higher frequency waves. What is proposed for 5G is to extend the spectrum from 30 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz, which is a big spectrum of frequency, and it's a relatively high frequency, still much less than what you have right now from the sunlight. So sunlight is, in theory, has higher radiation than actually anything that 5G is going to bring you. But there be still a lot of concerns around the subject. People feel unsure that there's been a lot of reports about people burning even towers. Now recently, with the outbreak of the coronavirus, a lot of people were absolutely outraged, and there's been this conspiracy going on that actually coronavirus is being spread because of 5G towers being built in the countries. The truth is that some of the countries that have been first to get over with the coronavirus, like South Korea, are completely ready with the 5G network. So they already have a full built infrastructure with towers, with everything, and countries as China as well, and countries in Europe and other places which don't have the 5G connection yet and the system being built, like the UK for example, are suffering much larger consequences from the coronavirus. So it's difficult to have a direct connection between these two. A lot of people say that the towers, so 4G or 5G, actually these frequencies are making small changes in your body that are making you more subject to problems with your immune system. And literally, I read the first page of results of Google Scholar. So if you want to check some facts and find scientific information, Google Scholar is the best place. There you have articles about all subjects and they're publicly available. And there is no one opinion. The truth is that there is no one opinion on whether there is actually danger for your health or not. most sources say that there might be some danger, but the reality is that we don't know. All the research has been done either on animals, rats, in laboratory experiments, or it has been done in such experiments that actually the simulation wasn't close enough to what we are actually going to be exposed to when it comes to the 5G. So how will actually this network going to be constructed? So there is the interesting part. So these waves from 30 to 300 gigahertz, which are the spectrum proposed for 5G, which will allow us to connect all these devices, are actually have one problem. They don't travel through solid objects. So walls, buildings, anything solid, trees and water actually can absorb these frequencies, and they cannot be transmitted. So what happens when you drive and you're going through a steep canyon with your car? You lose signal from the radio. So that's exactly the danger with 5G and with expanding the frequency of the waves, is that your connection might be blocked by object around you. Therefore, the reality is that in order for us to run this kind of higher frequency waves, we need more cells. So the cells are something like small antennas. You know, on every roof you have TV antennas. So you will have to have pretty much every 250 meters in the areas which have 5G connection, they will have these small cells, small antennas, so that when you are moving with your device, when the moment when you are about to lose the signal from one antenna, you catch the signal from the next one and the next one and the next one. And this is kind of a technology which people are being very scared about. Then there is it's called the MIMO, multiple input, multiple output. So at the moment, big towers have been built for 4G connection, which have the transmitters, which they produce these waves. And these waves are caught by the small antennas and then caught by your devices. So it is kind of process. At the moment, these actually don't have enough capacity in order to serve that many small antennas, small cells. So what they do now is actually expanding the capacity of towers, so they could have hundreds and hundreds of transmitters. They will look a bit differently, much more powerful, in order for them to actually bring the signal to these multiple small antennas. One of the biggest players when you talk about 5G is a company called Huawei. Huawei is famous for their relatively low-cost devices like mobile phones, computers, laptops. And if you've been following the news, recently the United States actually banned Huawei devices being used in the United States because of fear of espionage. There is a lot of negative information about this company. When you look at the history of Huawei, there seems to be concerns from India, from all neighboring countries, from the United States, Australia, Canada. There is a lot of talks around the founder of the company. He is a former military engineer from the Chinese military and very well connected with the Chinese Communist Party. And there is a lot of concerns about the methods which Huawei uses, whether they actually make it possible for the Chinese government to spy on people abroad via their devices. But the reality is that Huawei is ahead in being able to construct this technological infrastructure that you need in order to have 5G. And the reality is that certain countries like the UK have already built their whole 4G network with the infrastructure of Huawei. Even though there were a lot of concerns in the past, in 2012, a lot of concerns against David Cameron approving Huawei to execute these contracts. And at the moment, UK is in the situation where we already have this full infrastructure built by Huawei. If we want to ditch it for another supplier, then it's gonna cost a hell of a lot of money because they will have to actually redo the whole infrastructure that was already for 4G. There is the factor as well that the United States has been in a race to be the first country to actually get 5G installed in their country, and they are losing the battle because it seems that China is much more ready. China is projecting to actually be able to have 5G internet connection now in 2020. Now, of course, with the coronavirus, all these plans have been slowed down. However, it is estimated there will be a huge benefit for the economy of the country that adopts 5G connection first. When 4G connection came up in 2003, US was the first country to make it possible and to launch the network and infrastructure in their country. That brought more than $1 billion in GDP revenue for the United States. And millions of new jobs, millions of new business models, you know, all the fast applications, the video streaming, all the business models that we didn't even thought could exist became possible because of this. With 5G, of course, it's gonna be a huge changer. You can just imagine it's gonna be 10 times faster. And the country that adopts it is estimated to actually bring another $500 billion to its GDP. So it's a huge economical boost. Therefore, it's a political power, it's a lot of economical power, and a big fight and race between the biggest powers in the world, China and the United States. I know there's a lot of implications here. You might not agree with many of the benefits. Every new technology, there is a huge amount of benefits and there is negative sides. Imagine if you stay against 5G, if let's say you think that it's bad. It is kind of like, yeah, in the 19th century, maybe it was bad to build railway roads that connected the world. However, the benefit was so much bigger to society and to building our world the way it is today that it cannot be stopped. It's something that the society and humanity can only go one way, and this is towards better life, better comfort. This is what we look for. This is kind of in our nature. The progress of 5G is probably inevitable. I think one of the things that could be done better is to take it a bit slower and to make sure that the health risks do not outweigh the benefits. So that we expand the spectrum of these frequencies gradually instead of going full way without even knowing what the implications could be on public health. This is all from me for today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, like it. If you want to share it, share it. Subscribe to my channel. I'll be sharing new information very soon. Every Sunday there will be a new video. I hope you stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you very soon.